What's up, guys? Mr. Travis Pavlik here today with a couple of wishbones. Do not look at that appetizing, but they will on the car. Basically, this is the upper control arm. These are eBay bought, so a lot of the aftermarket manufacturers, Beck, Arley, whatever, they're about the same. Basically, they come with the bushings installed. They have the ball joint on the end here. So if your car, this car is a little bit riding a little bit rougher, got in there, looked at the bushings on the upper control arms, they're worn out. And also when I'm like full lock, turning slowly, like to do a U-turn, it's a little bit unstable. So I suspect that's the upper ball joint as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the shock, take off the upper control arms, replace them, torque them, put back on the shock, and send it. Alright, so the first step is just to get the vehicle's front end, or whatever end you're working on, lifted. That is lifted. Got a little wheel lock key, and we're going to take this wheel off and start on this side. The jack stands are supporting it at the frame rails. Okay, now that the wheel is off on the passenger side, we're looking at the upper control arm. I believe we have to remove this piece right here. It's some sort of sensor, or the brake line. Actually, the brake line's down here. So some sort of sensor, we'll remove that. And then we'll remove this, and back here, and back there. Now there's not much room. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna remove the shock, because back up here on the LS430, you just can't, you can get the bolt out, and then you're gonna run into this shock in the kind of tower. So we're gonna remove the strut coil spring assembly as well, which is down here. I think this is a 19mm, and pull the other side and then hit with the gun is the plan. All right, guys, again on the passenger side, the first thing I did was 10mm here, remove this bracket, just get that out of the way, don't want to damage that. Then the second thing I did was actually put a, let's see, this bolt here. This is 17mm, there's a 19mm. Put a wrench on this side and then impact on this side and remove that. However, looking at the instructions, they say take this 17mm ball joint out first. So we're gonna go back one step, remove this, and then you wanna be able to kind of tie it to the side with rope or something like that if you do completely remove this, because it'll just hang and drag the electronics. So I'll find some sort of rope to tie it to. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this bottom and loosen these nuts on top on the shock tower. Gotta open the hood for that. And it says, the instructions say when you're removing it, we're on the right side, so turn the wheel to the left. Alright, so now the 1/2 inch. Oh, is it gonna fit? Is it gonna fit? No. Can't use the big old 1/2 inch. Oh, that's so sad. Nope. Alright, so we can't use the breaker, but we can use this. Again, 17mm. There's usually a clip in here. I've tried and failed already once because I couldn't remove the shock tower, so I just didn't put that back in. The new ones come with it, so don't worry if you lose it, but if you're using this video for other purposes, don't lose that. It's kind of what that nut looks like. And now, some people use a ball joint puller, but you can just whack this, especially since we're not going to reuse it, to remove this from here. And then this is the part where you want some sort of rope to suspend this so it's not, you know, pulling completely. Good time to also, you know, inspect the rest of your suspension, especially if you're going over curbs. But these tie rod ends, are they straight? The sway bar, is that straight? And the torque tightened down. And then, you know, as your shocks, are they leaking? Is that everything appeared to be in good quality? Okay guys, should have filmed it, but my helper wasn't on the ball. Just blame your helper. But this is obviously just slides in there. All I did was directly hit this side. I'm just gonna leave that for a second. Just to show you what I used. But it's just a big old kind of mallet. You want something with some real force, and just try to hit it dead on, you know, dead on a couple times, and it will come loose. And be careful, obviously you're gonna put all that stress on these hoses. So this is the time to tie them up. Here guys, so on this, get a shot of this. This is just a plastic cover. There's 3 little tabs that just pop off. They don't pop off that easily, but let's see what that looks like. There we go. Just this little piece right here. But simple, if you break them, don't freak out, they're not expensive. This is a 14mm with shock tower forward here. There's 3 of these, so we're gonna hit it with 1/2 inch. Inch doesn't want to fit there, but you get the picture. And this should relieve the stress so we can move that shock and spring out of the way. So now with that tension off of here, you know, we could just move this kind of freely, and we're gonna move these all the way. And let's see, might have to cut the wheels in one way or another. Okay, I'm pretty excited. I've never actually done coilovers or whatever, but with the tension relief from the top, there's a little bit of a gap there. And all you're gonna do is pull up, and then this will pull out, and you basically have the whole assembly free, so it's pretty cool. Okay, with the shock and strut removed, we're gonna put in coilovers. No, just kidding. This is kind of what it looks like. Now we have full access to these 2 bolts. So it's quite simple from here. We're just gonna remove this piece and replace it, and then put the shock strut back in and tighten everything, torque everything down to spec. And just to show that the ball joint was indeed bad, this one is, I mean, I've definitely seen worse, but if you take a look at this one, it's so firm, it's not going anywhere, basically. And here's the quality on the new ones. You can see it's just a kind of typical bushing. These ones I got on eBay. I'm gonna put a link, an affiliate link, but basically with some similar ones that are non-OE, because the OE ones are very expensive, and it's quite frankly, it's just not worth it unless you're really particular about it. I think these will be fine. These come with a year warranty, you know, like a Beck Arley, whatever, will be just fine, and it'll be a lot better than what you had before. I suspect. All right, probably one of the most important points of the whole video is going to be the torque spec. These are 39 foot-pounds right here, and the castle nut is 64 foot-pounds. So we're going to live life dangerously. We're going to do 40 and we're going to do 65. Okay, we're almost there, and getting this shock in is quite easy. I just kind of put this bottom part in and then aligned it, and this with the top. There's only one way to do it, so you can't mess this up. That's nice. But there is a white marking on mine. Mine are stock OE shocks, and I'm actually not gonna end up torquing this because it was whenever I torqued it down, this thing would lock up, and instead I'm just gonna do them, you know, kind of snug. We're gonna call it snug, and then send it. Wish me luck. So when we put the shock tower in just very loosely, because the spring won't have to be aligned, we're putting this bolt through here, and then just snugging up this nut. And then what we're gonna do is put the wrench here, which is the 19, and then I'm just gonna impact it from here with the 14. Oh, 17. Let them know we here for business, baby. Good. My ears are no longer with me, but that's tight. Alright guys, it's April in Arizona. I'm sweating already, but basically the most important part, which I have not seen a tutorial on this, but basically you can maybe see the wheels are turned all the way to the left. This is the right side. Let's reverse. Turn the wheels all the way to the right on the driver's side. And basically I put a little bit of pressure with a jack, but this was not looking like it was going to go in, and then I turned the wheels to the left, and that was closer. Tightened obviously the top mount as well, and then put a jack under here, and it was able to go in to where it could get the nut on it. Wow! This is the nut that came with it from the aftermarket supplier. It's very flimsy, not a fan of this, so I'm reusing the OE one, much sturdier. Okay guys, don't forget to put back on everything that you took off, and it's a good time to look at your brakes. Look at the pad thickness. See, there's the pads in there. That thick, she's thick. And then also your brake lines. Mine are stainless steel from here, so I actually upgraded these. And that's the bleeder. I also need to replace the brake pad sensors, so that's a good time to do this. I might have to run to the store and get them. I think we're also gonna spray some disc brake quiet on the back of these pads. So this is the brake wear sensor. Let's see, it goes up here. And oh, okay. So it's this piece from here down to here. So I can get some of those for cheap and have new brake pad wear sensors. Alright guys, so for the bottom of the strut, we're going to do 1/16, and the top, these three, surrounding, they're gonna be 43 foot-pounds. Here we go. Set to 116, and then I'm gonna hold that wrench or have an assistant hold it. Camera shy assistant. And get after it. All right, so if you're gonna do this, then beforehand, you can get some PB Blaster and spray in here. And here. Here. Just anywhere where you think there might be problems. It just helps. Okay guys, not even gonna lie, this was a lot harder than I thought. I worked on turning the wheels left, turning the wheels right, and separating this ball joint with a crazy big 4-pound Harbor Freight Pittsburgh Special. It was quite difficult. Finally, I got it out. I used PB Blaster, etc. But finally it's out. Also, I did try, compressing it kind of. So finally, it just worked its way out. Don't be scared because you're not reusing this ball joint anyways. Thankfully, bye-bye ball joint.